And welcome back. It is time for It's Your Business. It is something you may not have thought about, estate planning for pets. Does it sound silly? Not if you feel, though, that your pet is part of the family or possibly depends on you to survive. Alexandria Strike is a former district attorney. She now owns her own law office where she focuses in on estate planning. And I don't want to make light of this because for some people this is a very serious subject, isn't it?
Well, it is serious, Carolyn, because most people have a pet. And it's not, when I deal with estate planning on a day-to-day basis, I'm not talking to people about leaving their entire fortune to a dog in a trust. Yes, that happens.
It does, I bet, doesn't it?
It does happen, but what I see daily is people who have a beloved cat or a dog, a companion, and they've made no preparation for their own incapacity or their death, and the dog winds up in a shelter. The statistics are that over 500,000 pets are euthanized every year in shelters because the owner has died.
Okay, so the idea is maybe to set something up for how the pet is going to be cared for after the person dies.
Exactly.
So take us through the steps. I mean, does this really have to be legal?
Well, it does, because if you just leave the dog to a person with no money, we don't know that the person will be able to care for the pet as you would. The other issue is if you just leave an animal with a sum of money to a person, there are no restrictions that require the person to use that money for the animal. So if we set this up where the money is used and you give specifications for how the animal has been cared for during your lifetime, the pet is going to be cared for, and you will know that in a way that you would do it if you were still well.
How much does something like this cost if somebody comes to you and wants to set up an estate or a trust for the pet?
Well, I don't charge extra. This is part of my standard comprehensive estate planning. My basic worksheet where I'm talking to someone about designing a trust or a will includes what's going to happen to your pet animals.
So you probably bring it up to them.
I do.
If they're at some certain age in their life and
Right.
you know that this pet has probably been with them for a while.
Exactly. Well, anyone who has a pet, it's not just about passing property when you die. It's about making sure that a living creature has the kind of care that you would want the animal to have.
Well, I just never would have thought about this before, but you say people are using this, that they see the need, and it's not to give a bunch of money to Harold the dog, but more about the care of that animal afterwards.
It's just making sure that if something happens to you, you know where your animal is going to go. And if that means the animal goes to the Humane Society for a period of time to go to a good home, then maybe you leave a sum of money to make sure that the animal is going to get to a good home and not be euthanized in a shelter.
Alexandria Strike, she is an estate specialist around here. How can people get a hold of you?
Well, I have an office on River Street, and the number is 208-345-6308, and there's more about pet trusts on my website, assetprotectionfirm.com.
Great. Well, we put that up right there, that phone number, so that's great. And thanks for enlightening us.
Thank you, Carolyn.
You bet. We'll be back with more.